So what if there was a blueprint for being a man that went way beyond just performance? That's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to use E.O. Richking's book, Beyond Swagger, as our guide for building a life that's got some real, genuine substance.
We've raised boys and men's bodies, and the world is paying the price. Wow, that's a pretty heavy statement to start with, right? But this is the core problem Richking is pointing to. He argues that in this age of social media and, a real lack of mentorship, we've ended up with a generation of men who have gotten really, really good at looking the part, but have kind of forgotten how to actually be the part.
So we're going to follow that blueprint step by step. First, we'll take a look at this crisis of character. Then, we'll lay down the foundation, which is honor. From there, we'll see what a gentleman actually looks like in action. And finally, we'll talk about the ultimate goal, building a legacy that lasts.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the crisis of character. Because if we're going to build something better, we've got to understand what's broken in the first place. Okay, so this is really the heart of the conflict the book lays out. On one side, you've got swagger. That's all the external stuff, the performance, the charm, the hype. It's all about temporary success that needs other people to tell you you're doing great. But substance? That's internal. That's the lasting strength you build from character and integrity. It doesn't need an audience to exist. And the argument here is that our culture has just become obsessed with rewarding swagger while kind of forgetting how to build substance. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. The book says the evidence is all around us. You can see the real-world consequences everywhere. I mean, think about those super talented guys who just can't seem to hold down a relationship, or leaders who demand respect but haven't actually done anything to earn it. The point is, when character starts to erode, the consequences are pretty severe for everybody. So if that's the diagnosis, what's the solution? Well, Richking argues we don't need some new trend, we need to go back to a timeless foundation, and that unshakable cornerstone is honor.
Now, when you hear the word honor, you might think of, knights in shining armor or something from an old movie. But the book boils it down to something incredibly simple and powerful for today. It's integrity without an audience. It just means your word is your bond, and the person you are in public is the exact same person you are when nobody's watching.
And to make this super practical, honor is built on 3 pillars. It all starts with integrity. No masks, no faking it, just rock-solid character. That integrity then fuels courage, the guts to do what's right instead of what's easy. And all of that is pointed towards service, using your strength to build people up, not to push them down. The biggest obstacle to building honor isn't really what's happening outside of you. It's the battle going on inside you, the one between your ego and your honor. And it really comes down to a choice you make every single day. Do you feed the ego, which just wants to look good and get all the credit? Or do you feed your honor, which challenges you to actually be good and to serve others? All right, so with that foundation of honor in place, let's move on to part 3, the gentleman in action. How does all this theory actually translate into a man's everyday life? Okay, this is a huge one. Redefining what emotional strength even means. For generations, we've been sold this idea of suppression. The whole real men don't cry thing that just creates these emotional time bombs. The book argues for mastery instead, and that's the real strength, to feel something completely and then consciously choose how you respond with wisdom, not just pure impulse. And this isn't just a nice idea. There's a practical 4-step process for this. First is just awareness. Know what you're actually feeling. Next, acceptance. Don't judge it, just see it as data. Third, understanding. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? And finally, response. That's where you choose your action based on wisdom, not on that first knee-jerk impulse. And this mindset of mastery totally changes how you approach relationships. The book draws this super sharp line between dating and courtship. A dating mindset is always asking, what can I get out of this? It's casual. It's about entertainment. But a courtship mindset, it's intentional. It starts from a place of service and it asks, what can I give? So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it literally changes the words you use. The low-effort, what can I get approach leads to those really generic texts, right? Like, hey, what's up? But an intentional, service-oriented approach leads to communication that shows you're actually paying attention. Something like, I've been thinking about our conversation. It shows you were listening and you actually value their thoughts. That tiny shift from what's up to I was thinking of you, that is the entire difference between just looking for entertainment and building a real connection. And this brings us to our final section, building a lasting legacy.
This is where we zoom out and connect all these daily choices of character to a life that actually has meaning and a lasting impact.
All of this work, it leads to the ultimate payoff, a fundamental shift in your perspective. Our culture trains us constantly to ask one big question about our lives. What can I achieve?
But the gentleman, the man of substance, he flips that question completely on its head. He asks, what can I contribute? And that one word changes the entire goal from just personal success to meaningful service.
And why does this shift matter so much? Because your character is the only asset that's truly permanent. I mean, think about it. Jobs, money, status, all that can vanish in a heartbeat. But your character, once you've built it, it's yours. It compounds like an investment over a lifetime, and it opens doors that money just can't.
And this really gets to the heart of what a legacy is. It's not about what you achieve, it's about who you develop. Your greatest accomplishment won't be found in your own success, but in the positive impact you have on other people through your mentorship and your example. So ultimately, a legacy isn't some monument you plan for the end of your life. It's what you build with the small choices you make every single day. So the real question isn't what you're going to leave behind, it's what are you building today?